I learned a lot at that age of 12, where my mother would show me how to keep the books. She would always say, you want to make a little bit of money? Let me show you how to change this lock, or let me show you how to rock this wall. So it started there.
Wow. And not everybody know at such a young age how to start off correctly. You know,
I'm hiring the masters. So I'm going to hire an electrician. He has a crew.
So you could look me up. Matter of fact, Google me. I listen, you guys. I have the esteemed pleasure to introduce to you one of my friends, female builder from Baltimore in Maryland. Okay, she's a female builder, period. Okay, but primarily in those areas. Let me tell you guys, they say that women don't do it. We do it all. Okay, and we do it much more efficiently. Sorry, guys, but we do it much more efficiently. I'm with my girl, Brooklyn Billies, aka BK Lobster, as well. Most of our women have businesses and they run in construction sites. Like, come on, like you can't beat that. So let me tell you guys, listen. I cannot wait for her to introduce herself to you guys, because I'm telling you right now, this is definitely someone that you want to follow on Instagram, someone you want to follow her journey. You understand? It's not always about the followers that you see. You understand? It's the real people with the boots on the street that be getting it done. And like I told you guys before, I'm going to bring you the real behind the permits, the real behind the builders, the real period. I'm going to always bring that to you guys. These are people actually inside the business, doing the actual business daily, every single day, making things happen. So, Geri, welcome, honey. Thank you so much for driving all the way here.
You're welcome.
Oh my gosh, I so appreciate it.
You're welcome.
So tell me, can you tell my viewers a little bit about yourself?
All right, I'm Geri. I'm originally from Brooklyn, New York. I started my real estate career at the age of 18, as soon as I got out of high school. But I started with my mother. So my mother is the co-founder of a 16-unit apartment building in Brooklyn, New York. And back then she took the building from the city. The city was about to take over the building from the landlord. And my mother found the program in which she could get the building into, and she wound up doing that, having the building totally renovated, in which all the tenants became shareholders.
Stop it!
It became an HDFC. Yeah. So it started there. So
that's what your mama was doing.
So she would do consultations in New York for other buildings and help other people get their
right.
Yeah. So she did about 10 of those buildings in New York before she left.
Where they had stakeholders.
The
tenants.
Yes.
Inside of the building they were living.
Yes.
Oh, that's deep.
Housing Development Fund Corporation.
That's deep.
Back then they were able to get the buildings into the programs, HDFCs, and they became shareholders. So I learned a lot at that age of 12, where my mother would show me how to keep the books. She would always say, you want to make a little bit of money? Let me show you how to change this lock, or let me show you how to rock this wall. So it started there.
Wow.
And not only that aspect, my father's mother and father, they were from South Carolina. But they did have real estate in New York also. So when my grandmother and grandfather was ready to start retiring, they went back home and they built their own real estate portfolio, rental portfolio. So in South Carolina, that's where we got block of properties with our last name written on.
Really?
So I come from a family of real estate and investing. My uncle, he was a computer programmer at Chase. I was 17, 18, and he was showing me how to invest in Chase stock. So, yeah.
Talk about being able to even start off the right way. Not everybody know at such a young age how to start off correctly.
Yeah.
You know, that's amazing. So, all right. So at what point did you get your GC license? At what point do you know you was going to decide to build? Because you're a builder, like an actual builder, like ground up builder. Everybody want to get into
home builder. Look me up.
Right.
Estate club, woman minority business owned.
That's right.
Registered home builder. So.
Register home. Okay.
Maryland Home Builder Registration 8828.
That's what she gave her call. That's receipts right there. Like, okay, not just the videos and stuff you see on Instagram, but the actual information so you could look me up. Matter of fact, Google me.
Yeah.
Google me. So how did you go from being, you become a contractor, from a contractor to a developer, to a builder, to a, like,
So I started out as an assistant to a home builder.
Okay.
And then he had a broker on site. I worked under that broker as his assistant. The broker said, if you get your real estate license, you can get commissions. When I'm not here, whatever you sell, you can get a commission off of.
Oh, okay.
I got my real estate license. We were selling new construction homes at that time for a builder named Ed Lonigan in Bowie, Maryland. And once I got my real estate license, it was up from there.
It was up from there.
That's when they were starting to do Toll Brothers. They was doing new construction homes down in Maryland, Upper Marlboro, Bowie. Sold a lot of that.
Wow.
And with Ed Lonigan, he built, and yeah.
Wow, and that was in
2006.
That was in 2006. So now what? Like, so after that you became
so what happened is the broker who was there, his name was Tim Dobry. I don't forget Tim Dobry because Tim Dobry showed me Baltimore City. Tim Dobry was flipping houseboats in Canton.
Houseboats. Ain't that something? He's flipping houseboats. Okay.
And he kept telling me, you got to come up to Baltimore. You got to come see. So when I was ready to buy my first house, I was up in Baltimore City, and that's where I bought my first house at. And after that, it was just like buying a house, fixing it, until I got my MHIC license. After that, I got my WMBE.
Yeah.
Registered as a home builder. So.
Wow. Yeah. So, all right. So, register home builder. All right. So, tell them exactly what that is, because you have people they call them developers. Developers develop properties, right? A home builder. That means you have what? How many crews running at any given time?
I mean, you can have however many crews you want to have running, depending on the size of your business. But after you get your MHIC license, you can register, become a home builder, which means you now can do new construction from the ground up.
Right.
Yes.
Right. So how many crews you have running now?
So right now I have 4 different crews.
Listen,
4 crews.
Crews. Okay. Yeah. 4 crews running, and each of those crews, I'm curious of how they made up. So, and each of those crews, is it somebody that specializes in, I guess I would say, like plumbing, electrical, framing, wiring, roofing, utilities.
Each crew has a competent person, and that competent person is our superintendent, in which he leads the crew. So he's going to have a crew also that is a master electrician, a master plumber, master mechanics, and everybody should know what their trade is. And then, the competent person on site, he then knows how to assist everybody else. So he knows how to do everything, and everybody under him knows how to do everything that they need to know how to do.
So my question would be, number one, how do you find people like that? Number two, once you get to that home builders part, doesn't that mean that you can only hire a union? I mean, that you have to hire a union?
No.
Don't ever come to Philly. Don't ever, because they're going to make you hire.
I mean, because I'm hiring the masters. So I'm going to hire an electrician. He has a crew. But they're part of my crew.
Right.
You understand? So, you don't have to.
And they don't have to be union?
No.
I know in Philadelphia, and once you reach a certain type of dollar amount project, or a certain amount of units, they force you into hiring union. That's why a lot of people don't like to build in Philly too much, because of that. They force you to hire union contractors, or you have to have a balance of some non-union, but mostly union contractors. They flake the prices up, and they stretch the projects out longer.
But this is a Commonwealth state also. We're not.
Yeah.
That's a big difference.
It is a big difference. I've had people pull out of deals like that in Philly because the union was just too much, and they weren't as far ahead of the project. It's like in 2 months you only did 3 apartments, and it's like a 50-unit building, and you could have done didn't even do a whole floor yet, so it was really crazy. They had to kind of pull out of that whole situation right there.
99. My plumber, my electrician, my mechanic, they're all subcontractors. They all have their own businesses. And then I have my immediate framers, carpentry, So I have another crew that specializes only in commercial restaurant kitchens. So and I find these crews, they find me, I should say that.
How do they find you?
So I do permit expediting also. And a lot of times.
Okay.
They're not licensed.
Right.
And then they need that leadership. And then
right.
And I have a real estate club. So it's Brooklyn Billies Real Estate Club. And
okay.
The purpose of the club is to be able to bridge the relationships between the consumer and the tradesman.
Right.
So, the tradesmen find us because they need the permits.
They need the permits pulled, right.
Pull their permits, or even helping them design the projects. I'm able to see their work. I'm able to build that bigger relationship, and then that's how it goes.
And that also builds loyalty too. It builds loyalty. Yep. It builds trust, work ethic, and all kinds of things. Because when they see how efficient you are, they're more comfortable with. So you pull in the permits. Oh my gosh! So they don't have to pull their own permits.
No, I pull the permits.
And then you pull all the permits. Yeah. Wow. Now let me ask you this: we're pulling the permit.
The tradesmen will pull their own permits.
Okay, so
but I also can have them pulled.
So either they pull them themselves or you pull them. What do you think is easier? If you're doing a new build, is it easier for them to pull them themselves because they are
right?
So they would know right away how to correct a problem or to see a way around it. Okay.
But most of the time, what happens is if it's not a master who's actually working, and it may be the apprentice, the master is still coming to check before we go to inspection.
That makes sense.
Yes.
That makes sense.
Everybody still is learning. It's still, everybody gets to learn the process. So I might have, let's say I just have one of my carpenters that may know how to do electrical work. He may do everything correctly, but the master still comes in, make sure everything is done properly, and then we call in the inspection. So if there's something that's not right, we're gonna correct it. He's gonna learn it wasn't right.
So that also brings me to the question of we have a part of my team that does pre-building inspection. Okay. So that sounds like that's exactly what that is. That head person that you guys use actually because they know what the inspector is going to look for. They come in they have that tradesperson do the work, but then they come in to make sure that it's being done correctly and efficiently so it can pass basically the inspection on the first time around. Right, yeah. Correct? Am I saying that? Yes. Okay, because that's exactly what we have on this end. They do a pre-building inspection, which is not really an expensive cost.
But you do that.
Well, I have a separate from me that does it. Okay. So I have a part of my company that goes out and do that. Okay. So, but you have to decide that you want. That's not something we just offer. Okay. Like if you want that, we have a person that can do a pre-building inspection. So they'll even come in beforehand that walk you through and tell you what you should do based on where you're putting things at, or where's the best way to put things and where it needs to be. Or they'll come in after you had already started and they'll walk through and see what you did and say, nah, you're going this right here. They're going to call you on that. And then they cross it out or they mark it and say, no, this right here, you're going to do this. Make sure there's 2 inches here. Make sure it's higher up there. So we have them as a pre, and then we also have them as, because see, when you're a new contractor, they're not as experienced. So when my pre-build inspection person come in, they come into the property and they actually, where's this going? Where's that going? And when they walk into the project, they look at it and go, okay, well, you're not going to be able to put this here because it's going to bother this. So they help make sense of the project, and it's easier for the homeowner or the investor that owns the property to get past it a lot more efficient. And then they don't usually come back out unless they pay twice to come back out. Right. Then they get paid again to come back out. And then they'll go, okay, fine, you're good to go, you'll be fine. And they do that with all the mechanicals, from the electrical, plumbing. I have some of my guys that are double tradespeople, which I'm sure you do too. So some of them are plumbers and electricians. You know what I mean? So, which is good for me because they can get two birds done with one stone.
Yes.
You know what I'm saying? And generally they usually come in also because of them not necessarily having the permit. You know, so yeah, I get that. It's crazy how many people swear to do the work. They do the work, but nobody want to pull the permits.
They want the responsibility. They don't want the liabilities.
Yeah, but the permits is where, even if you would think you want the permits because you figure the permits is where you learn to do it correctly.
But grow up, especially the Hispanics, they grow up building, so they already think that they know.
Right, but different buildings have different municipalities, different building codes and
Different
stuff.
counties have different code. It all is I just ran into something
Yeah.
where I'm doing the catastrophe rebuild, the fire damage. He failed the inspection, electrical inspection, but he's a double tradesman, right? Plumbing and electrical. But he failed it for the fact that he's like, oh no, Baltimore City is this. We're not in Baltimore City though. We're in Anne Arundel County. So you can't say what Baltimore City is doing because their county codes is
Anne Arundel County, but that's still a part of Baltimore.
It's a part of Maryland, but it's Anne Arundel County. Baltimore City is his own county.
Right.
So yeah, each county has its own code.
Its own codes and its own set of rules. Yeah. That's what it's like. It's like when pulling permits. I know, like if I'm in Delaware County, you have Yaden, you have Upper Darby, you have East Lansdowne, you have Drexel Hill, you have Havertown. You know, all of them have each individual boroughs. When with the city of Philadelphia, it's different because I go to one municipality and it takes care of the entire city of Philadelphia. So it's a plus in that instance. But the boroughs, just like Jersey, have its South Jersey, North Jersey. All these little counties have their own little municipalities. You know. And when I was looking for permit expediters to do those areas, one of the requirements was you have to live near the areas that we're doing it because I can't have you come from North Jersey, come all the way down to Camden. You know, like you needed to live within a vicinity of the municipality, you know, so you can get the information enough back and forth, you know. And I think in Atlanta, it's kind of the same thing in Atlanta too. So a lot more places, not too many people have municipalities, a lot of them do have the little different boroughs and stuff like that, and you have to know what each borough require.
Each tradesman also have to be registered in those counties also.
That part too.
Yeah.
Right. So what she mean by registered? So it's like getting a business license for the city of Philadelphia, right? But when you go into like the counties, even including Jersey and New York and that kind of thing, you have to obtain what they call a business license in those cities in order to use the license, actual trade license. So if you're a trade licensee, electrician, a plumber, contractor, you have to now, if you want to work in the certain different counties, get a business license to operate business in those counties in order for your license that you already have, that trade license of yours, to be recognized.
So I'm a Maryland home builder, right? But when I go to pull permits in Anne Arundel County, it wouldn't address me as a builder. And the reason why is because you have to register in their system.
Right.
So if you don't register their systems, then they won't even recognize you as such, even though I am a Maryland home builder. So yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, that's
I couldn't even pull the permit without registering.
Oh, you can't do anything. Yeah. When I got registered in Chester, I couldn't do anything unless I got a business license in Chester. Yeah. Then I was able to apply for a contractor's license that I have now for Chester. And the same way when it came to Philadelphia, you can't lead-based paint. Like for instance, if you're doing lead-based paint, right? Because I have a lead-based paint company now as well. Even though I have a business license in the city of Philadelphia to be a permit expediter, I still had to get another business license just for the lead.
Okay.
And then have a business license to actually act on just to do the lead. They get you come in. They get you, and then it's a different level of insurance you have to get for that kind of stuff. Yeah. I know as a permit expediter, I need professional insurance, where a contractor needs general liability insurance and auto.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's always something. It's and the permit process is not necessarily easy.
Yeah.
But once and you know how to be proactive with it about what you can and can't get away with.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Now I got a question for you. Have you ever had a project as a builder? Have you any of your projects as a builder been shut down?
No, never,
Never.
never,
Never.
never,
Have it ever been
never shut down as a builder.
Mhm.
Now, have I got a stop work order
I was gonna
before
say.
I was a contractor? Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Is that why you got into the permits? Is because of the stop work as a contractor?
Because I was an investor first.
Mm-hmm.
And being an investor, I wasn't a licensed contractor.
Right.
Nor was I a registered home builder.
Mm-hmm.
So as an investor, you're learning.
Mm-hmm.
You're doing, but you're learning at the same time.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, I've gotten a stop work order.
And you had to go down and correct it.
I had to pay for it and then pull the permits.
Right, but was that what made you become a permit expediter? I mean, is that what made you start pulling permits, or to you it just was like
I started pulling the permits because people would just start coming to me asking me like, can you help me? Can you help me out? And that's how I really started pulling the permits, to be honest with you. But I wasn't making the permit pulling like a thing.
Right.
Yeah, it just became a thing, a part of. So yeah.
A part of actually doing a job.
Yes.
So do you find that actually pulling permits just make you more confident on the job?
Yeah. Because what happens is a lot of times they can do the work. A lot of the guys, they can do the work, but some of them don't know how to read blueprints.
Yeah, I know very well. Yeah.
And you got people telling you, oh, you need to do this, you need to do that. And it's like, no, I don't. You telling me I need this amount of material. No, I don't. I can see it right here on my plan. So
right.
You know how to read your blueprints, then you know how not to get gypped in this business.
They need to be taught even now.
Yes.
How to read plans. I was saying that we read them generally.
Yes.
Yes, that I read plans before we submit. It's not for your instance as a builder, it's for materials. I don't read for materials, but I read it for certain wording.
Yeah.
So if the wording I think is not going to make sense to the project, or it's going to trigger some additional information coming from the reviewer based on what was said. So just that little bit of language will change the entire permit for you. You know, right? So, and then I always say, don't volunteer too much information. Just be mindful of what you put on there. And I'll always ask questions because I want to know. Because I'm always thinking of ways I can kind of maybe get around it or bend it just a little bit, to get to the objective I'm trying to get to. But the purpose of reading the permit is reading the plans is so I can understand that you're meeting what the client's asking you to do, but not giving too much information where it's going to cause my permit to be held up unnecessarily, And if you don't know what you're doing, most contractors would just get the permit in their hand, get the architects in their hand, architect plans in their hand, and just submit it right away. Dude, you came back like 40 something revisions or 30 something revisions, right? And you're like, wait a minute, did you read it? No, the architect gave it to me.
Yeah.
Okay, but did you look at it? For what? That's the architect's job. No, it's not. Anybody, any spunkin can just submit anything. The objective is to read it and be proactive about it. And then sometimes when you submit things, you can't submit the plans by itself. Sometimes you need to submit it, and then there's other paperwork that need to go with it. And I know that, you know that, but I know that as an expediter, like, okay, if I'm doing something structural, then I need a structural form. I need an energy form. I need a waste hauler. I need a, structural design criteria, whatever it is. I need these other forms to accompany me when I'm submitting with my plans, because I already know what they're going to ask for. And because my objective is to get an approved permit.
Okay.
That's the objective.
So in Baltimore City and county, a lot of times they don't ask for like additional paperwork. You need your site plan along with your construction drawings.
And that's it.
Yes. And
even when you're building ground up.
Depending on the extent. So Baltimore County, that's where I'm doing a lot of the ground ups at. You don't even need electrical drawings. You don't need plumbing drawings. You don't need mechanical drawings. You just need the plan, construction drawings. You don't have to have the full plumbing, electrical. You don't have to submit that to the accounting. In Baltimore City, you have to.
Right,
You gotta
right.
submit mechanics, plumbing, electrical, plus the structure.
Yeah, Baltimore City, I think, is where mainly most of my work I'm going to be working out of soon. So, but you have to supply all of the, and what about the zonings? The zonings is a big thing that you have to always know what the zoning is, so you can make sure that you, like if it's a multi-family or you want to add an addition or something like that. You know what I mean?
Well, the architect normally knows.
The architect out
Yes.
there would know.
Yeah, the architect that I work with, when we go to a site, he knows what the codes are. I don't necessarily know all the
Right.
codes. Yeah, but he knows the codes. So if it's an addition, two level, he'll tell what's allowable and what's not allowable. So yeah.
So, and he'll actually put that on the plans, and you will know ahead of time if you need zoning or not.
To change the zoning over?
Yeah. How long would that process take for the zoning?
Um, it just depends on if it's commercial
It
or
probably only take a couple
residential.
months.
I'm thinking 90, yeah, somewhere 90,
Yeah.
120 days, something like
Yeah, I
that.
think it was something like that. I think it was like a 90-day or something. Yeah. Because in the city of Philadelphia, it's 4 to 6 months minimum
Yeah.
and thousands of dollars. I mean, hiring attorneys and all, just to be possibly, I would say 70% ratio, you may be able to get it, but it's crazy.
Okay, in the manner of multi-families, like changing something over from single to multi, or okay,
Yeah, single to multi. If you don't have the zoning code, that's about right.
okay,
So you have zoning codes in every city where you have the by right within that zoning to turn buildings into certain things. If you don't, then you have to go and apply to be able to change it to that if you don't have the proper zoning to change it by right. So that process right there is like a 60 to 90-day process. I wish. I was talking to somebody. Yeah, I was telling somebody about that, and I'm like, in Philly, it's 4 to 6 months minimum, minimum, and half the time it's going to take you every good shot of 8, 9 months before you can even get anything, and you can still get to a no.
Yeah.
It's
spending all that money.
Yep.
Wow.
Most of them have to be appealed. Now, do they allow you to? Do they make you have to deal with two of them, like a neighborhood association people in the zoning?
So
right.
You got to put like this, the zoning posting out, and give people time to respond.
Yeah, yeah, but you don't have to have a meeting with them or anything.
Not necessarily. So, and I'm saying not necessarily because I have not experienced that, right?
Okay.
But what I did experience where the owner of a liquor store died in one of my rental property communities. So then they wanted to sell the liquor store, but they posted the notice out there, and the community did have the voice to either say keep this liquor store here or remove this liquor store. So I'm figuring if that was posted within the zoning, then they give the community, a chance to voice their opinion, rather than not they want to take it out the community or not. Yeah.
They not only have you kind of posted, but they actually have you set up a whole meeting with them and everything.
Oh, okay.
And then they get to chime in, show up, and all of that.
You know what? I do see meetings go on for zoning, but I'm thinking that's for particular neighborhoods,
right,
and neighborhood association politics. So
right,
yeah, but that particular experience in which I seen, because and I didn't have to deal with it. There wasn't a community meeting. It was just a posting to say, if you don't want this in the in the neighborhood, reach out to this number. But it wasn't. No, that's a lot of. That's gonna be a lot of time.
That is a lot of time.
Different businesses changing zonings back and forth, and to have a meeting in every community, like.
It is a pain in the butt. I know here in the city it's a pain in the butt. What I'm wondering, like, say your average permit you pull, and how long would you say the average time for a permit pull in Baltimore would be?
The average is the longest, but that's new
Well,
construction.
we're talking architect too. So architects can be the one because architectural plans are what, like 3 weeks out minimum, and that's just to get the plans.
That I work with is pretty fast. This
Mhm.
I'm working on something right now. It's taking him. Well, we went back and forth. We was going back and forth since July with the homeowner. We
Mhm.
finalized it in October. I didn't get
Mhm.
the plans yet, and he is one of my go-to architects.
Mhm.
So, I mean, he did say that he was kind of busy right now,
Mhm.
but right now that's holding up one of my two-level additions.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. The architects could be a huge
Hmm.
hold up in the deal.
Yeah.
Nobody like to say that.
They could, because
Okay.
I don't know, he's holding up this deal right now. It's not
Yeah.
he's holding it up, but I've been paid already partially.
Yeah.
So that makes, it all the better because it's like my client is like,
Right. We got to go ahead and get
yeah,
this thing
we're ready to
started
start
because
on this
this is
project.
really.
So I'm just like, okay, well, I might have
But once you had this, a new build, right?
this. Yeah, it's a
Or
two
an
level.
existing.
No, it's a two-level addition.
Oh, it's an addition. Okay.
Yeah.
So like, all right. So for the addition, you got to do zoning first, though, right? You don't do zoning for an
No.
addition?
Yeah.
Baltimore City?
You do not have to do. I did not have to do no zoning for no additions.
Really?
I've been doing additions all summer long. Two level, yeah. No basements,
What
some
about
with
like
basements.
decks?
You got to pull a permit. You don't have to go through zoning.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. Like my roof deck, I didn't have to
Yeah.
go through the zoning. I just had to pull a permit for it.
Wow.
Yeah.
Okay, so here in Philly, we had to pull zoning first to be approved for it. And then once we approve for that, we get a permit. And then we got to take that permit and upload it to the building permit and then pour the building. So you're talking the average turnaround time is 15 to 20 days in the city of Philadelphia, which is more like 30 days to 45 days just for the zoning. And then you're looking at the same time again just for the building. So both permits, let's just say you'll get on both back within 45 to 60 days that you're looking to get both permits. But so okay, you don't need zoning, but you need building. I mean, okay, so with the building, what is the average turnaround time for a building
6 weeks.
permit? 6 weeks. That's about the
Baltimore
same.
County is 6 weeks. Baltimore City, they supposed to respond to you within 36 hours. Yeah. So once you put a permit in a system, yeah.
Really?
Mhm. It's gonna take a long time.
And then it comes back. So you so you tell me for Baltimore City, you probably only looking at 3 weeks to a permit to get a
Yes.
permit, and
Yes.
that includes like revisions.
Yes.
I
Now
like y'all Philly, but
with Baltimore County, with my first new build, I had revisions with my site plan,
hmm
and I want to say it put like another 2 weeks on it,
hmm
because they do this process where they go like kind of by number,
hmm
but 6 to 8 weeks tops.
that's beautiful.
Yeah, it is.
That's
Like I keep trying
beautiful.
to tell you,
How
the
many?
Commonwealth. Nah,
No, I'm already there. I'm already there.
that was
I
part.
need a place. I gotta get a place to stay in Baltimore for
Okay,
real.
we got that.
Gotta get a place, but I'll be there like a couple times out of the week actually.
Okay.
So that's one of the things I want to talk to you about. So, how many projects you would say you have like built up until this point, like
New
new ground
construction.
up construction,
Um,
or
outside
do
of
you know?
yeah, wait, I can count them
Okay.
outside of additions.
Outside of additions, because additions for everybody is on to an existing property. She added on to either a back of a property,
Mm-hmm.
side of a property, or on top of a property. That's
Yeah.
an addition added
Okay.
onto an existing property.
So now
New builds is completely new builds.
okay. So I've done five.
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 Let me ask you this: which ones do you prefer? Do you prefer the new developments, or would you prefer the addition existing
Now, with additions, the hardest part is just really
the footings?
joining them together. The roof lines, pretty much, making
Okay.
them look good
Yeah.
from the roof. That's the
Mhm.
part that is the hardest, I feel like, and
Mhm.
and making the addition look beautiful
Mhm.
is joining the roof hips.
Mhm.
Um, but I prefer,
Or they both move, are they both pretty much the same to you? Because
it's the same. It's the same. I mean, if I'm not digging a full out basement, then we still digging. You understand? We still got to dig. So
you got to, right. So full out basement. Yeah.
Crawl space in the additions. So yeah, if they don't want a full excavated basement, then yeah, we're doing crawl space.
But you're doing this other thing now. Okay, so the full on excavation is when you take like the backhoes and different, trucks, and they actually dig in the ground to build up the walls to do the basement. And that's where all the utilities and all that stuff go, right? Yeah. To make the basement and then the house. But you're doing something different now. I think I remember you telling me where you actually put a slab on top of the existing ground, right? It's like a slab on existing ground, which doesn't require you to have to go all the way down.
Right.
Right.
So that's like the crawl space almost.
Okay.
Yeah. So with the additions that I do now, we still do like, dig it, but we're not doing a full excavation basement.
Okay.
And then you can slab that after you're done, or you can just, rock it, pebble it out. But,
okay.
Yeah. And you slab it and then you can use that as your floor.
Okay. Okay. Listen, you guys, I know y'all had to have learned something because I done picked up something already. It got my brain going. It got my brain going big time. Like
wait, we podcasting? No,
I'm trying to get some information for myself because in my head I knew certain things I'm trying to do, and then I'm like, oh really?
Yeah.
So listen, I hope you guys got the gems that was dropped for sure. So Geri, tell them exactly how they can get in touch with you, Instagram, phone number, whatever. How can they get in touch with you moving forward? Because there's a lot of things going on in Baltimore right now.
It's a lot.
I can't even.
Baltimore City is the last on the East Coast that has not been gentrified. And then with all the new updated air trains, the ports, all the big brands wanting to come in, put their facilities. Baltimore is on the rise.
I'm trying to tell you.
Back in 2007 when I first started investing in the city, that this was going to happen. Coming from New York and watching.
Oh, it's wide open, yeah, especially coming from New York. It's a candy ground. It's penny candy.
I was licensed in Maryland in 2012, 2011, 2012, 2013. I went to New York and started wholesaling like crazy.
Yeah.
I was wholesaling. And it was bananas. And then I came back. I said, no, I'm buying up some stuff in Baltimore. And after I started doing that, I was just like, oh, this is where it is. It was not hard to flip the properties. It's not
hard to get permits either. It
wasn't hard to get the tenants in them. It wasn't hard to get the rental income. It's not hard in Baltimore.
Wow. Listen, guys, that's a gem.
Let me let y'all know. Y'all can reach me at Brooklyn Billies on Instagram. What other platform?
You have Brooklyn Billies. You have BK Lobster.
BK Lobster Baltimore on Instagram. You can reach me at www.brooklynbillies.com or for BK Lobster, www.bklobsterbaltimore.com for lobster roll lovers. And yeah, Brooklyn Billies for all your real estate needs. So whatever you need, I got you.
You got us.
Yeah.
Listen, hear her up, you guys. A wealth of knowledge. Yes. Somebody that's actually in the business, still doing everything and well connected. It's nothing like doing business with somebody who loves what they do.
Yes.
Because it shows to them.
Do it. So
right. She do it. Just like everybody else on here that came. I do this, right? She do this. Oh, thank you so much for coming. I appreciate it. Listen, it's nighttime now, you guys. We've been at this since 10 this morning. It is nighttime now. I'm excited to be able to I'm hungry.
Whatever.
I'm hungry.
Old-fashioned.
But listen, I'll talk to you guys soon. We are out of here. Check us out on YouTube. Peace.